But I mean, the one that is going to excite quite a lot of people, hopefully, is the home tie against Manchester City.
Yeah.
Despite being a friendly, but it's a huge opportunity, isn't it? I mean, that must be a great opportunity for you, like you say, to test the mettle against arguably, one of the best academies in the country, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, when I come in, one of the conversations we had, myself and Simon had, and he was keen to do it, was to try and test our players against the top sides in the Premier League. So we try to arrange a few of these games over the course of the season. Hopefully we get 2 or 3 of them in where they get to play a good side like Man City, and they get to play at St James's as well, which I felt was really important, getting used to playing out on the stadium where hopefully they will play someday, get that experience in early. So yeah, really important, different challenge to what they face every week. They'll face technically better players, respectfully to the other teams, players more unlikely that are very good athletes as well, players that are probably from different parts of the world as well, not just from the UK. So yeah, I think it'll be a very good test. We'll certainly be going into the game with the right attitudes, not treating it as a friendly, because that's something we try not to do. We treat it every game competitively.
As you say there, I mean, with the greatest respect to these local teams, like the last couple of weeks we played Torquay and Swindon, and sometimes if you are beating teams comfortably, with the greatest respect to them, it is important, isn't it, to find these friendlies against clubs that might see Exeter as an opportunity for them to rack up a big score, and quite the opposite. You'll probably cause a few surprises along the way to bigger teams and show what we're doing.
Yeah, I want to find things out about these players. So certainly finding out some things about them in the last few games, and I don't imagine next time we play Swindon or Torquay it'll be the same scoreline. I'd imagine it'll be a much tougher game. But I think every game we can find out something new, and that's what we want to try and do: find out something new, put a new challenge in front of them, and see what they come up with to solve it. And hopefully at the end of it, learn a little bit more about this player, what he's got to do, what he's good at, and so on and so forth. And hopefully on the day, if there's a few people there watching, they get to see a few of the next crop that might be coming through this academy to play for the first team. So yeah, definitely.
I think Simon's been trying really keen across the whole academy to get them playing against clubs that are like Premier League standard things. That must be a hugely important, isn't it? Like to development of the players.
Yeah, I think so. It's a huge. I think it's also an important factor in terms of attracting players if they know they get to play against these sides. But certainly it's playing against those sides we can really see where we are and things, and pick things up, and like we said, it's different to what we play week in, week out, so we will learn something new. And like I said, the kids up their game a little bit. Hopefully they up their game every game when they come in, but sometimes they'll up them for these ones.
Absolutely. Like you said, Manchester City in particular, we choose players from the southwest, they choose players from all over the world. That's going to be make it a really interesting part. But yeah, we say we've got players like Matty J, who's come through into the first team now. But you must see a lot of potential in a lot of the players, effectively. I mean, he's been kind of the person who's been thrust into the limelight. But there's a few more there where he's come from as well, haven't there?
Oh yeah. We got a good squad. There's a few in there that continue the way they're going. Hopefully, the manager and assistant manager and that might be pulling them over again as well. So we've got a couple in there that are getting a little bit more regular training with the first team and that every week now, which has been pleasing. Like I said, the pathway here is fantastic between the academy and the first team. The first team manager and his staff are very accommodating and really want to work with us in helping develop these players, and particularly the guys that are already up there as first, second and third year pros, that link there, and trying to still continue their development and stop them from being fringe players, but hopefully push themselves into the team like Grimes has done. So there's not going to throw any names out there, but we certainly got a few in that squad that will be knocking on the door hopefully in the next few years too, maybe if not this year.
Hopefully a few people at St James Park on Tuesday will be able to pick out their own names for themselves, because hopefully it'll be a good crowd, and to see that match against Man City, which hopefully would please you, I'm sure, as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, it'd be good, because just for the players more than anything, the experience of playing in front of people, a crowd, and that it brings a different dimension to the game for them. So and you know, on a Saturday we could play in front of maybe 20, 30, 40 people. If we can get a few hundred there, and a little bit of an atmosphere, it'd be great for them, a bit of a buzz, and we can learn maybe something else about them. Do they freeze? Do they handle it? How do you know? Some things which we can go, all right, well, let's work on that now, rather than we find out when they do play in front of a big crowd for the first team.
Speaking of which, I mean, Matt Downey's debut, probably didn't expect to actually make his debut. He probably wasn't even expecting to be in the squad until you found out the day before, but you must be really pleased with the way he responded to that situation with 20, 25 minutes left to go, and really put a really impressive shift in, really.
Yeah, not surprised in the slightest. He's struck me from day one of working with him that he's a very level-headed person, very mature person. So I think you could stick him in the FA Cup final, and I don't think he'd be too phased by it, because we have a saying which we've been getting into the boys: don't take the highs too high and the lows too low, and he certainly doesn't. He keeps his feet firmly planted on the ground. And hopefully he'll do that all season, and at the end of the season, if he's had a really good season through getting more performances in games, then maybe he can take his highs high then, you know. But no, he didn't surprise me. Very, very pleased for the kid. He's worked very hard, and puts a lot of time and effort into it, and a lot of focus on what he's doing, just like the other 13 I've got on the squad too.
Great, well, we'll look forward to seeing you on the touchline on Tuesday.
Okay, brilliant.